Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 19 female, am from an upper middle class family in my country. My parents work really hard to raise my sisters and me, and I'm very grateful for that. It's common for parents to pay for our education and children to depend on their parents financially until they get a stable job. My parents are against us working at a young age because they saved enough money for each of us to use for our education and wedding. I'm moving abroad next year to complete my third-year degree. My parents knew that the course I chose is recommended to do in the UK. I'm very thankful for them because they are willing to pay for my tuition fees and accommodation and extra expenses. But I have 3 sisters, and my parents have to support them too. So I felt guilty and decided to work as a part-time waitress at a restaurant. I would use the money I saved from this job for my own expenses in the UK without feeling guilty. The UK currency is 5 times more than in my country, so it's expensive, and my parents are grateful that I decided to do this. So the problem here is my best friend, R, 19 female, got pregnant during the lockdown. She's planning to keep the baby, and I'm not against it because it's her body, her choice. However, her family is struggling financially, and she won't be able to raise the baby because her dad is the only one working. Her boyfriend is not working too. This happened a few weeks ago when my friends and I were on a video call. R was sad because her parents wanted to abort the baby as they don't have money to help her with the pregnancy. My other friend suggested R abort the baby or put it up for adoption if she can't afford it. R then jokingly said OP would help me. I was like, what? I then said, yeah, I would support her and be there for her because we're friends. R then said I could help pay for her child because I'm rich. I was honestly shocked and said no. I'm saving that money for next year and I need it. R became aggressive and demanded that I share my money because we are family, friends for years. I was pissed at her, so I left the call. My other friends are with me because they feel like R is being unreasonable by demanding that I do this. R sent me messages that I won't be allowed to see her child if I don't help her. When I didn't budge, she started harassing my boyfriend. God bless his soul. He told her to shut the F up and dealt with it. R and her sisters are mad at me because I'm trying to ruin her life. I talked to my parents about this, and they said it's my money and I can spend however I want. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Edit. Thank you so much everyone. I knew I was not the a-hole, but was a bit unsure. And now I'm 100% sure that I'm not. Thank you. I've discussed this with my other friends and they mentioned many situations where R used me for money, but I was dumb to notice it. My boyfriend also suggested I go no contact with R because she's not a good friend, so I sent her a message. Hey R, just wanted to say your body, your choice. My money, my choice. If you miss me, name your baby after me. Bye. Petty? Yes, but I don't care. Thank you again everyone. I have blocked a number on social media. She reached out to my other friends, but they ignored it too and told her to find a job for the baby. You're not the a-hole, OP. I'm glad you've realized that you're not the a-hole for not giving your friend money for her unborn baby and saying no to helping her out financially. This is her baby, not yours. As a friend, the most you can do is be there for her and support her, but it seems like she expects you to actually fund a pregnancy and childbirth because she believes you're well off. Even if you are, you still don't owe her anything. And the fact that she thinks you do says a lot about her. She made a decision. The responsibility for the baby falls on her, her boyfriend, and their families, not you. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Finding a job is not that easy, and sure, life is easier for those who come from a little more money or have more support from home. But the thing is you are already working to support your parents, who as you stated have 3 other kids to tend to. Opportunities are not the same for everyone and you shouldn't look down on your friend for not wanting the baby, but this is still her and the boyfriend's choice. Not the a-hole. Who in their right mind would expect a friend to help pay for a child? If you gave her money now, I guarantee she would expect you to stay home from university, and continue to work so her and the baby's dad can go on not working. She was grown up enough to make the baby and grown up enough to make the choice to keep it. She is definitely grown up enough to get a job or tell a boyfriend to step the F up. Not the a-hole. You didn't get your friend pregnant and her child is not your responsibility. She made the decision to keep this child. Now she can step up and take financial responsibility for her child. She's not your friend, and I would be telling her that you're not going to be supporting her or her child. That's both her and her parents' job, and if she won't stop her family from also harassing you just like she is, then you'll have no choice but to go down the legal route for an official cease and desist letter served on her. Story 2. So, my friend and I have been sharing the same apartment since 2018. I never had a problem with him until last week. My dad is currently intubated due to COVID-19. Because of this, my brother and I have been taking more jobs to support him, and my mother financially. I worked continuously, no rest day, for 3 weeks until my body finally gave up due to stress. So I collapsed from overworking and I got bedridden. Now, this is when I finally had a problem with my roommate. While he's on the way to buy food, I asked him to buy me medicine. I even gave him a tip as thank you for it. Well, no medicine came. He said he just forgot, but refused to return the tip I gave him because, apparently, he already spent it. He also refused to go out and buy it because he says he's tired. After this incident, I felt like I lost my trust in him. So when I got better, I decided that I will probably move back to my parents' house for now. This way I can save money from rent costs and I won't need to work as much as before. I told him about it earlier and he was furious, saying we had an agreement that no one will be out of the house unless the leasing contract ends. Because that's the reason why I agreed to be a roommate with him anyway. In my defense, it was just a verbal agreement, and the mere fact he subtly committed fraud on me should be to terminate that. The leasing contract is named under him too, so it's not a problem if I move out anytime. The reason why I'm posting this is because the landlord interfered and is convincing me to stay. He said that I should cut my roommate some slack, citing financial problems as the main reason as my roommate cannot pay for the whole lease alone. He also said that the next time I'm sick and in need of help, I should contact him instead, and he's more than willing to help. But for now, stop being too selfish. Am I the a-hole? You're not the a-hole, OP. I understand why you would want to leave the apartment. You feel betrayed and hurt. The time you needed your roommate to step up for you, he didn't. He stole from you instead. I don't know him well enough to defend him, but I'll say wait until the lease is up. You had an agreement even if it's a verbal one. It would be nice to pay him back this way, but it's not worth it. Just be a roommate to him. Don't do him any favors since he has made it obvious that you two aren't friends. Once the lease is done, leave the apartment. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. The problem isn't that he didn't take care of you. That's not a roommate's responsibility. The problem is he stole from you. You gave him money for medicine and he just kept it. Thieves are untrustworthy roommates. And as for what happens to him when you leave, well, he didn't care about you, so no need to care about him. You are not selfish. They are. You need to look after yourself and do not listen to those who insist you put yourself dead last. Not the a-hole. If your friend could not be bothered to do a simple thing that you paid him to do, you should not be bothered by his inability to afford the apartment alone. It's clear that he is not your friend. He is just your roommate who is willing to take advantage of you while you're sick. You have every right to terminate your roommate agreement when you have the opportunity for a better living arrangement. The landlord doesn't care about you beyond the rent you pay. He's going to say whatever he thinks will convince you to stay and keep paying rent. Give your notice and move back home. Your roommate's ability to afford rent is not your responsibility. Not the a-hole. Okay, so I do understand people saying that the roommate isn't obligated to help OP, but the roommate was already going out to get food. The roommate accepted the money and the roommate said they would get it for the OP. They took the money and spent it, came home without medication, and then, knowing that their roommate was incapable of going out, and getting it themselves, refused to go back out and get it. OP, you're not overreacting. That is not the type of friend or even just a roommate that you need in your life. This person stole from you in a time of need. They weren't obligated to help you, so you're not obligated to stay and help them, period. I hope everything works out for you. Good luck. Story 3. My stepsister Micah and I have daughters a year apart. Micah's daughter Gemma is 9 and my daughter Serena is 8. Gemma has had behavior issues since I can remember. When she was younger, she had constant tantrums, couldn't sit still, and would vandalize anything she could get hold of. As she got older, her lack of manners and destructive behavior made her nearly impossible to be around. And besides that, she was really mean. She told my daughter that her modeling campaign photos were ugly. She calls people stupid constantly, teased my mother's dogs to the point she isn't allowed near them anymore. She's just not nice. The other day, me and Micah were at our parents' house and my stepdad mentioned Serena's birthday and that she was having a small party. 4 girls from her class for a shopping and spa experience and sleepover. Micah asked me if I was planning to invite Gemma. Previous years, Serena's party was large, so we invited Gemma as a courtesy. I said no because Serena is having a small party for her friends this year. And since the girls are not close, I was not going to force her to invite Gemma. Micah said I was teaching Serena to exclude people, to which I said that not being friends with someone isn't excluding them. This conversation went back and forth for nearly 10 minutes. And I was getting fed up of trying to be diplomatic because I know for a fact that Micah is aware of what Gemma is like. She complains often. So I didn't see why we were skirting around the obvious. Then Micah said that I should show some compassion since Serena's party might be the only party or play date Gemma is invited to this year. I just said I wasn't surprised. Micah asked what I meant by that, and I said that Gemma is not kind to the people around her and lacks social skills, and she's at an age where kids will notice that and not be forgiving. Micah seemed taken aback and said that she can't believe I would be so cruel about a child. She got her things and left and is apparently not speaking to her dad because he didn't stand up for her over what I said. She has also said she won't be coming to any upcoming family events. My stepdad said I was right and that while he finds it hard to be honest about Gemma, it's good that I was. My mother said while I was right as a mother, it's not an easy thing to hear about your child. My husband says that I should have stuck to saying no to Gemma coming to the party and left it there, because she isn't our concern beyond that, and I should just stay in my lane. I'm kind of questioning it now because I'm someone who generally does try to stay in my lane and not get involved in other people's parenting or family business. But the comment was topical to what Micah was trying to force me to do. So I'm not sure if I was out of bounds to say it. Am I the a-hole? Information: Gemma has been seen by several child psychologists and pediatricians for an ADHD, autism, other diagnosis. She was not found to meet any of the diagnostic criteria. I believe the last time she was tested was around 6 or 7. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Micah pushed for answers and she got them. I'm sure she was just hoping her pushiness led to an invite, so it's a fool around and find out situation. Is it hard to hear that your child's behavior is unpleasant? Absolutely. Could this be a catalyst for Micah to step up her parenting game? I hope so, for the child's sake. Empathy is hard to teach, but behavioral consequences should definitely be present. Not the a-hole. You know what's really cruel to a child? Knowing there's something seriously wrong and not acquiring better parenting skills or outside help. I do feel bad for Gemma, but she's going to learn some hard lessons because her parents have not done their job. And it's fine that you mentioned it. Micah brought up the topic and kept at you even after you were polite. It's fine that you made sure she understood. I'm sure it upset her, as she expects people will always be forgiving, but that's not how life works. I'm going with not the a-hole. I'm sure she knows that Gemma is a difficult child and has social skills issues, but there seems to come a point in which parents will start ignoring it and treating their kid like they're exactly like everyone else, purely for their own convenience. It's not cruel at all to point out that a child struggles socially to their parents. It would be cruel if you crouched down to Gemma and told her she was a horrible, nasty child that is going to get bullied for being so rude. Even then, not inviting someone to a birthday party is not exclusion. If Gemma truly will ruin the experience at the party for your daughter and the other girls, it makes perfect sense not to invite her.